This weekend in the world of Formula One, we are understanding why we love the Canadian Grand Prix, and courtesy of ZRL Zoom Racing League, we are going to intensify the affection we hold for the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Welcome one and all to the X Division of Zoom Racing League on this Saturday afternoon / Saturday evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so very much for your company. So then, we have an event invested in utter intrigue and hopefully exuding everything that we love about racing. So then, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, a storied track on the Formula One calendar, and one that has been so incredibly missed in the past few years during the COVID pandemic, and since then we haven't raced there, but this weekend that is about to change. Canada consists of 14 corners, 3 sectors of course, like every other Formula One track, 3 DRS zones, and loads of history. First racing there, way back in the early years of Formula One. Historic moments include Gilles Villeneuve's maiden win in 1978. We also, of course, have John Alesi's taken his maiden win as well in 1995, the Wall of Champions Grand Prix in 1999 with Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher, all ex-Formula One champions at the time, all crashing through the turn 14 exit. Of course, as well, one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history, Lewis Hamilton, he enjoyed his first victory in Formula One around the Canadian Grand Prix. He also took his maiden pole position at the same track the previous day. But at a track where the wolves are lurking through every single corner and where speed is presented in the most sensational way, we have everything to make a benevolent and blistering show for all you watching. So then, we are going to dive into an 18-minute qualifying session, as opposed to what we would expect in normal Formula One of 3 qualifying sessions. And then we will head on to a 35-lap race, a 50% race in relation to how many laps we would typically have around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But that is the event we have ahead of us, but it will be more than that. We will have thrills and spills along the way, and we will have some breathtaking racing to show to you all watching. So then, we have reached round 4 of 5 in the maiden X Division racing season, really, in ZRL. We have one more race to be had, which will be around Silverstone next week, and it also means that we may be able to crown a champion today. Draverspor is at the moment 22 points clear of Cushy, and he has a relatively remote chance of taking home the championship on the Canadian Grand Prix stage, but we will get to that all later on. And let's pay attention then to the drivers now heading out on track. One of them is Brittgart in the Haas. And it looks like we also have a Mercedes coming out onto the track, and that is Draverspor, then the championship leader. He's just ahead of, I want to say, Parky. Yes, he is just about ahead of Parky. And the Alpine, as well as the McLaren of Dublin, are out on track on the medium compound tyres, remembering that within the top 10, whichever tyres they set their quickest lap on, that is going to be their race starting tyres. So strategy is already making way and is already presenting us with varying strategies, but intrigue as well. So then, Brittgart in the Haas. He's not the lead driver out on track. That title is Dublin's, and let's ride on board with him then. He will be the first driver to tackle the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on a push lap. Let's see what comes of this. He opens DRS. He'll be chasing down the start-finish line. He's going to make the quick dash for turn 1. Then comes turn 2. It all comes really quickly here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. each and every 14 corners. The direction changes. Utterly breathtaking as Dublin there, getting quite wide onto the entry of turn 3. But he's able to recover it. We have yellow flags through the final sector, but that is not going to affect Dublin for the moment. 2 through turn 6 and 7. He manages to clear a car. Now made disaster. He's left the session. Now we have Travis for the championship leader. He has a 5-place grid penalty for a collision. He has end plate damage to the right-hand side of his front wing. As what could have been a championship winning day, it still could, but it has not taken the early twist that he would have craved. But back to Dublin then. He has 2 more corners to go. And is approaching the famous Wall of Champions. Is he able to avoid the temptation of running into the Wall of Champions? He is. He's going to make the run to the line, and the opening time in this session is a 1:10.480 on the medium compound tyres. That's a promising lap time. And Brutgart isn't able to really trouble that time at all. Logan coming through the middle sector, taking a lot of grass there on exits. Endgamer, his lap has been invalidated, so we will not be recognising his efforts on this particular lap. Kidusi now has a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Jimaras. But here comes Keiji then through the final corner. He opens DRS and is going to take the longer route to the line. He then switches back to the short route, but he's 2.2 seconds down on Dublin's time. Oh no, Godole Moose. Godole Moose has found the wall. Looks like through turn 6 and 7. So what was going to initially be a lap time for him is going to come to nothing, because Cushy in his Ferrari promotes himself up into 2nd place. As we have Walkie in the Aston Martin up into 4th. Jimaras, obviously he had a collision on that lap, so don't expect much as Dublin strengthens his lead out in front. It's a 1:09.7, and not only is he opening the gates to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, he is opening the gates to supremacy. Chonk is now 2nd on the road behind Dublin, but he really is not making an impression on the McLaren, who is driving in such blistering form at the moment. He's a man on form, and he is a man on fire. Connor is another driver on the medium compound tyres. He's going to approach the final chicane now. He will open DRS, and as Keiji goes quickest on a 1:09.6, Connor slots his Red Bull up into 3rd. That's a great lap there from Keiji. He's found his rhythm, and he has displaced Dublin's early pace setting time. Now we have Dublin's teammates. I'm going to be terrible with this. The Shumskray. Okay, we'll go with it. That was a terrible pronunciation. But the McLaren, through the first 2 sectors, is setting very promising very promising sector times. He sees his teammates on the front row at the moment. He will want to push his teammates outside of the front row. He has 2 more corners to tackle, and let's see what comes of this lap. Riding a load of curb there, which you have to do if you want the optimum line and to carry the optimum speed through that final chicane. But the McLaren is now quickest by a mere 34 thousandths of a second. And the lead is changing out in front in this qualifying session, minute after minute. And Gamer is now starting a lap, but he is behind Keiji on the road. The Haas will let him through. Doesn't seem like he had the greatest amount of speed through the first few corners. Now it looks like there's a problem there for the McLaren of the Shumskray. Get it into my head. The Shumskray then off the road. He is quickest at the moment still, but he has an invalidated lap time and will be finding no improvements on his latest tour. And you can see the drivers getting out of each other's way, which is good to see. This is a very tight track, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So you need to give respect to your competitors. Now we have a battle for track position between Logan and Chonk. Logan edges ahead in his Alpine, but on his outlap, He is going to want to change his fortunes around. He hasn't set a lap time yet, but he will be wanting to trouble the top times. Now it seems like there may be a problem for, I will say Caduzzi. Yes, Caduzzi then. He's currently 10th quickest. He's now demoted down into 11th as Ngamer slots his Merc up into P8. Leocritus then in the Red Bull. He crosses the line for the middle sector and he is setting competitive sector times. It's a McLaren 1-3. There's a pass on the front row. There's a Red Bull in P4. Could that Red Bull of Connor be demoted down into P5 as Leocritus has one major obstacle to tackle? It's the final chicane with the wall of champions lurking, but Leocritus has avoided that problem there and the problem it may present, and he slots his Red Bull up into 7th. Looks like he may be going for another lap there and looking for that improvement. Dravasfor, though, the championship leader, who does have a grid penalty, is improving by nearly 3/10 through the first two sectors, and this could put him possibly in the top 4. Amazing to see that we still have all 19 drivers left in this session. It belies the challenge that you think the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve throws at the drivers. But you can see Dravasfor throwing that Mercedes through the final chicane and chucking his Merc up into P4. Nearly half a second off the pace setting time of the Shums Cray. The championship leader, it will be a matter of damage limitation. Logan is on a lap, but his lap has already been invalidated. Now we have Jimarash stopping out on track, I assume to let some drivers through. We will have to see. Walkie, he is up into P10. Cushy, he's not improving on this latest lap. And Dublin, those going quicker. He set the fastest first sector of anyone, and he wants to reclaim that pole position. That pace-setting time from his teammates. He started it in very good fashion. You can see the Ferrari getting out of his way. He has 1.5 tenths to close in on his teammates to steal back that pole position, and he's improving by 1/4 of a second through the first two sectors. We have some battles, some blistering battles brewing here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and Dublin is very much a part of that. He is forging an inter-team battle with his teammates. He wants to displace Cage as well from the front row, but as he comes through the final chicane now, is he going to be able to do so? A very clean ride there for Dublin. He puts down the power, he chases the line, and he's back on provisional pole. That is a grand, glitzy lap time there from Dublin, whose latest tour of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve has been the best of the bunch. Itchry will now complete his first lap in this session. It's enough for P9. Great first attempt there from the Aston Martin, racing for a team boss who, of course, is Canadian, Lawrence Stroll, having bought the old Force India team back in 2018, rebranded it as Racing Point, has once more rebranded it. The Aston Martin name, as much as it is British, there is still a Canadian touch, a Canadian aura about it. And Itchry has delivered at least for a top 10 start at the moment. Major Disaster has now left the session in his Williams. It's quite difficult to find drivers on a lap time that hasn't been invalidated, but KG has just improved, not by enough to displace Dublin, but has improved and has eaten slightly into the gap of, or eaten into the deficits he had to Dublin, but it is still the McLaren on provisional pole. Caduzzi is now on a lap in his Alpha Tauri. Let's follow his progress. He gets past his stricken teammates and then approaching turn 3 and 4. Not really carrying the speed he would have wanted to, but he is building up confidence in this qualifying session as the clouds gather overhead. Just needs to familiarise himself with the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, we do expect a race of attrition ahead of us. As long as he can keep it on the island, he, like anyone else, stands a good chance of getting a decent result in this race. Giuduzzi then improving by just nearly 6/10 through the middle sector. And he will have now, as he clears the turn 12 kink, he has 2 more corners to go. He builds up the speed down this straight. Seems like DRS is opening and closing, which not going to be ideal, but he comes through the final corner. It has been a clean ride for him on this latest lap, and it is an improvement by nearly a second. So Giuduzzi is gathering momentum in this qualifying session, and an improvement in this session has been found. Tay then, he is nearing the completion of his lap. Doesn't really, looks quite hesitant on the turn into the first part of the chicane, but he leaps up then into 12th place. Cushy then, who is second in the championship, wants to really eat into the deficits he has to Draverspor, but with a P11 qualifying position like this, he may have to relinquish his place in this championship battle. But of course, he has the rest of this qualifying session to improve his position and has a race to be won. We have yellow flags through turn 7, and we have Cushy improving up into P8. And with Draverspor's grid penalty, that would mean Cushy for the moment would start ahead of the Merc. Let's ride on board with Parky. He currently sits in 5th place. Let's ride on board with him then through turn 2. Now taking it in 2nd gear, but as he puts down the power and rises up through the gears, he's now going to approach turn 3. The track limits are so incredibly harsh here, and Parky hits the wall slightly. He luckily gets away with it, but he has not found an improvement through the first sector. He'll open DRS on towards turn 8 and 9. We've seen numerous crashes through turn 9 through the years. Lewis Hamilton in practice in 2019, Marcus Ericsson in the Caterham back in 2014. But Parky is not invested in the same problem, but he's not quick enough on this lap, half a second down on his best time. This latest lap may be scrapped in terms of what the leaderboards will recognise, but the Alpine has half a sector to go, and he drains the battery down the straight, optimising the speed and reaching speed of over 200 miles per hour. But he now comes into the pits. Okay, Draverspor is improving through the first sector, but on the exit of turn 7, he was running perilously close there to the walls. Through turns 8 and 9 now, putting down the power once more. It's not been the cleanest of rides or the most competitive of rides for Draverspor in this qualifying session, and he's improving by fractions through the middle sector. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is not his friend at the moment. It's still a top 6 qualifying position at the moment, but with that grid penalty, he will at the moment drop outside the top 10. We have just a few moments to go in this qualifying session. We have 2 retirements now in the blink of an eye in this qualifying session. But Draverspor, he hasn't been able to improve through the final sector, but KG has, and he's improved back to the top of the timesheets. He's 2 and a bit tenths clear of Dublin, nearly a quarter of a second clear of the McLaren. And it's now on Dublin to reclaim that pole position back. Connor now in the Red Bull. He sits in P8. Looks like he may have 2 laps left, but if he's going to drain the battery on this lap, realistically, he has one last push around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve to improve his starting position. Towards the turn 6 and 7 chicane, using a lot of curb on through the apex of turn 6, avoiding it through turn 7. But he has DRS open and he's going to rage on towards turn 8. It's great commitment there from Connor. These cars. These drivers in action are just an absolute treat to be watching here. They are chucking their cars through the apexes of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and they are giving us a tremendous show. So Connor then has DRS open. The mightiest challenge left of this Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is approaching him now. Turn 30, turn 40, and he invalidates his lap time. So that challenge has withstood the Red Bull, and it doesn't look like Connor's going to be improving that P8 P8 position in qualifying. That's a terrible shame for him. Dublin, though, through the first sector, he's not finding an improvement. KG has shown his hand when it most counts in this qualifying session, and Dublin urgently needs a response, and he's getting that through the middle sector. He is quickest of anyone, but a lock up there into the casino hairpin will compromise him on exit. Rain now starts to fall at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That is going to hinder Dublin's progress. He is going to give it absolutely everything through the final chicane. He's occupied provisional pole position in this session so far. Is he able to steal it back from KG? He isn't. By 92 thousandths of a second, less than a tenth, he misses out on KG's pace-setting time. Good Ole Moose, I don't think he's going to be able to trouble the front runners in this session. Chomp! Oh, he hits the wall. He gets away with it just about, but that's going to compromise him. Connor, like I said, is not on a lap. And it seems like KG in the Haas will start this race from pole position. A tremendous lap from the Haas of KG puts him on pole position for the Zoom Racing League's X Division here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. A tremendous lap there from KG, who had to give it everything. He could not leave anything left on the track. And he manages to out-qualify Dublin and beats the McLaren to pole by 92 thousandths of a second. McLaren occupies second and third. They will be a force in the Grand Prix ahead. But the quickest driver in qualifying was KG. It's KG's Canada at the moment. Is he able to translate that supreme qualifying form into the race? Drabersport then, the championship leader who can endure in championship glory possibly later today. He will start the race from P11 with that 5-place grid penalty. And he has been out-qualified by his closest rival, and he will start 6 places behind him. But make sure you join us for the race ahead. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve never ceases to deliver, and we are about to invest in some utter insanity. Do not go anywhere. We have an intriguing race ahead. As you can see at the bottom of your screens, drivers are leaving the session, which means we will be starting a new lobby, and it means the race start will be delayed. So then, underneath grey clouds here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, we have a race to be had, 35 laps to be precise, and it is with KG on pole ahead of Dublin, and then the sister McLaren of the Shumskray. I'm going to get it right eventually. But the two drivers not on the soft compound tyres are Connor and Major Disaster. Connor is in 8th, Major Disaster is in 17th place, so they will look to extend their opening stints. The drivers on their formation lap, you can see the strategy on the screen. Do not expect to see the hard compound tyres in a normal race, i.e. no safety cars. The hard compound tyre is very slow around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it's a track where it is a little bit easier to overtake. You will be eaten up alive. But with KG at the front of the pack, and we have Jacob at the rear, the drivers are bringing temperature into their tyres and are ready to get this race going. and a couple of drivers disqualified from the formation lap, but we will have 18 drivers starting this race. The drivers will line up in formation onto the grids on the start-finish straights for the start of this race. For round 4 of 5 in this ZRL X Division season. So then, have you thought, have you pondered, have you questioned, have you wondered what extraordinary entertainment looks like? Well, invest your interest of the next 35 laps for the Canadian Grand Prix around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and we're racing in Canada. KG getting off the line, but struggling as well. He's going to be eaten alive by the two McLarens. One to the inside, one to the outside, and it looks like Dublin is going to dance and dazzle around the outside to take the lead of the race. The Haas struggles off the line, concedes the lead. Leo Kreis is now going to try and attack KG. He isn't able to do it, but it is Dublin that leads the race. He got the start he wanted, and he has displaced KG at the front of the pack. Traverspor's under pressure from Cushy, but Chonk around the outside of Cushy. They're going to go side by side. Cushy is seeing his championship challenge dwindle with every car he goes side by side with, but at the moment he's kept it on the island. He's under fierce pressure from Chonk. Oh, we have a spinner there for Parky, who's lit up the rear tyre. He's going to tumble down the order. And you can see Endgamer also spinning there. Two drivers dropping down the order in a matter of moments. And you can see Parky as he rejoins the track. He's been swamped by the pack as Good Ole Moose gets past his teammates. But what a dramatic and fiery start here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It is Dublin that leads the race. So then you can see the top 6 really swapping places at the start. So it's Dublin that leads the race from KG. We're on board then with Chonk, but we're going to cut to it. Schreit, who's going to sweep past Logan down the start-finish straight. The Aston Martin is up into 8th place. And you can see the big winners from the start, obviously, including Dublin, who now leads the race. But Chonk, who's gained 3 places. Jimaras, who's gained 3 places. And Good Ole Moose and Caduzzi, the two AlphaTauris, gaining 4 places. But the AlphaTauri of Caduzzi's been passed, and he may be passed again into turn 3. Yes, he has. Walkie down the inside has the place. But things may just settle down a bit as the drivers get in formation and will continue their pursuit in this race. But Dublin out in front is nearly stretching his lead to a second. So whatever KG threw at Dublin in qualifying and was able to overcome, he has fallen victim to a poor start, and Dublin has seized the opportunity he was presented with and may just run away from KG. Still so many laps to be had. Cushy though, he wants to reignite his championship charge. Traversport, championship leader, who in the end did not get a grid penalty. It's been taken away, but he's under the pressure of Cushy, who's going to look to the outside of turn 1. The top 2 in the championship going wheel to wheel here at Canada. Traversport has the upper hand at the moment. Cushy though, under pressure from Chonk. The Alfa Romeo down the inside. Is he able to see 6th place? No, he isn't. The Ferrari at the moment has him at arm's length, but he wants to be looking forward. He wants to pressurise the championship leader. So Cushy, that dropped behind the championship leader at the start of the race, is going to have to repass him if he wants to really bring the battle back to Traversport. Logan has gone for a spin through turn 7. Looks like Jimaras is going to get past him. Yes, he does. But Jimaras has 2 Alpines behind him. Now we have Caduzzi and Good Ole Moose, the 2 AlphaTauris, going side by side on towards turn 8. And Caduzzi breezing ahead then towards the end of the straight. But Cushy is still under pressure from Chonk. On board with the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to look for a move into the chicane? No, he isn't. But he comes within millimetres of hitting the Ferrari. And he may be able to pass him because that's not a very good exit there from Cushy. Chonk is pressurising him, but he's not close enough. There's a DRS train forming because Cushy, who isn't close enough to make a real impression on Traversport at the moment, has DRS to defend from Chonk. But this is a very intriguing battle brewing as Jimaras now gets past Parky. Jimaras is up into the points. And the Alpine, they're just having no response, but he may have response as Jimras creates his own problem. That brings Parky back into the battle. On towards turn 6 and 7. No, Jimras still holds that position, but it looks like Leocritus has now got past KG. The pole sitter from this race has just not had the start that he wanted. And the Red Bull surges up into second place. But the Haas, with the help of DRS, oh no, he isn't going to have DRS. He was ahead of Leocritus at the detection point. So the Red Bull can focus his attention on Dublin and not on KG. Oh, it's been a troublesome start for the Haas, who struggled off the line and has dropped down into P3. Cushy still under pressure from Chonk. Are they going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1? No. Cushy still just about ahead. And DRS is proving powerful. Powerful enough at least for Cushy to keep the Alfa Romeo at bay. Chonk does give Cushy a bit of a tap there, but the Ferrari still just about holds 6th place. Lap 5 of 35 here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, round 4 of 5 here in the X division of ZRL. The championship leader, Dragonsport, currently lies in 5th place. At the moment, he will not win the championship, but he will strengthen his points lead over Cushy, and that's Logan. That's Logan through turn 7, and it's proving a problem for our drivers as Jimras is now going to look to the outside and he progresses past the Alpine. But the gap between the front two is getting closer, ever closer, as Leocritus is now within a second of him as Cushy now gets past Dragonsport. The championship leader relinquishes a place to the Ferrari and then spins into the wall. The championship flashes before the Mercedes man's eyes. Has he got damage to his front wing though? He hit the wall. He conceded a place not only to Cushy but also Chonk. And it may just be the most dramatic turn of the day here in the championship battle. Dragonsport, yes, he's only down into P7, but does he have damage? Is he going to have to make an unforced pit stop? We're going to have to see. But KG's under more pressure now. He may drop out of the podium places. He has the Shumskray hunting him down. And then KG then losing the rear. Was he collected there by the McLaren? He was passed by the McLaren. They're going to go side by side into the casino hairpin. It's been the start from hell for the Haas. He's outside of the podium places. The Shumskray now makes it a McLaren 1-3. But the Haas wants to fight back against the McLaren. Are they going to go side by side into turn 13? The Haas looks to the outside. Is he able to make a move around the outside? No, he isn't. The McLaren just about keeps him at bay as Dragonsport drops down into 8 and he's going to make a pit stop. He's been handed a 5-second time penalty as well, and this race is getting away from the Merc. He's going to have to change his front wing, which will cost him an unbelievable amount of time. Oh, the inverse proportionality of dominance and despair is striking the championship leader here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. He's going to drop, most possibly, out of the points. And it has just not been the race that he would have wanted. It started promisingly. He was ahead of Cushy, but he drops behind him and he's now down into 12th place. Oh, that's a crash between Walkie and Connor. The Aston Martin has fared worse. He may have front wing damage, but he's dropped down into 14th place. We also have yellow flags through the final sector, and that's because Godole Moose, through the casino hairpin, has encountered a problem or two. And he has now been lapped by the race leader, but the Shumskray is coming at Leocritus, who makes a dive to the pits. He's going to try and trigger the undercut on Dublin. So we're being presented here with strategy intrigue. How does Dublin respond? With these tyres that he has getting ever older, he may have to pit. Well, he's going to have to respond. He's going to have to put some lightning lap times in to keep the Red Bull at bay, who has triggered the undercut. Is it going to work to effect? I think yes, he is going to be able to get ahead of Parky. So the Red Bull will emerge in clean air. So then, we have the biggest battle for the lead since lap 1 now taking place. How do McLaren respond? It's going to have to be a wondrous in lap 4 Dublin, who is now going to have to spend the tyre grip. So then, Dublin making the charge towards turn 13. Is he going to respond to Leo Kreitis? No, he isn't. He stays up for yet another lap. This is very, very interesting. Leo Kreitis has forced the hands of the McLarens and they're not making their pit stop. We have a variety of strategy on our screens here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Chonk has now pitted. We have a problem through the third sector. We have yellow flags. Maybe major disaster in Jacob. Maybe a problem for them too. But we'll cut back to this battle. And it is the Williams that has DRS on Jacob on towards turn 13. Jacob holds 12th place and will remain in 12th place into the chicane. But he has DRS on Jacob down the start-finish straight. It's so powerful down the start-finish straight. He's making an impression on the Ferrari. There's contact between the pair of them through turn 1. They managed to escape from that relatively unscathed. But wow, such was the Williams speed down the straight. That gave Jacob something to think about. His attention now turns to the Williams in front of him of Jimaras. This is the battle for 11th place. And they're going to go side by side. Jimaras just about ahead of Jacob. The Ferrari puts the power down. And in the prancing horse, he's going to gallop towards the outside of turn 8. Is he able to make a move around the outside? He is! And as Jimaras finds the ball, that was a masterful move there from Jacob, who used the richness of his racecraft to surge past the Williams. An utterly glorious move. So Leo Kreitis, he forced the hand of Dublin, who is now exiting the pits. So Dublin has now pitted, and Leo Kreitis is going to emerge ahead of the McLaren. The undercut has worked for Red Bull. They forced the hand of the McLaren team, and they have reaped the rewards in the most dramatic way. They, in effect, now lead the race. Travis Spohr is only just ahead of Connor, so he's behind Itch-Dry, he's behind Dublin, he's behind Cushy, he's behind Chong. He's losing touch with Cushy, his closest rival in the championship. The second closest driver in the championship to Travis Spohr is Connor, but he's struggling with those soft compound tyres. And he's losing sync with the Mercedes a little bit. It's just not been his day. Obviously, he had contact earlier, which did not help him. The Schumskrane now pits in the other McLaren. He's going to pit to the medium compound tyres. KG now takes over the lead. He started this race from pole, but he just has not had a footnote out in lead since they rolled off the grid. Dublin, though, is coming back at Leo Kreitis. And it's going to be interesting, actually, where the Schumskrane is going to re-emerge. Is he going to emerge ahead of Dublin? He's going to go side by side with Leo Kreitis. And Dublin has lost out significantly in the pit stop phase. Leo Kreitis effectively now leads from the Schumskrane. Dublin is effectively down to third. And strategy is taking the centre of attention now around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And it's Leo Kreitis who leads the pack. But it is the McLaren of the Schumskrane, not Dublin, that is his closest rival. On board with the Schumskrane. He was under pressure from KG. He's now looking for a place in the net lead of the race. He's the lead McLaren, and is he going to make it work? He will have DRS on towards turn 13. Will he have P2 on the road and in effect P1? KG stays out on track. But our eyes are peeled towards the Schumskrane, who is attacking Leo Kreitis into the chicane. He gives the Red Bull a bit of a tap. He's going to have DRS once more. He has a very plausible opportunity to get past the Red Bull, which he does. On towards turn 1, he breezes past Leo Kreitis, and the Red Bull's time effectively out in front has met its conclusion. The McLaren is out in front, but it's not Dublin, it's the Schumskrane. He's utilised a superb strategy so far, and he can now see the Red Bull in his wing mirror. And Leo Kreiter struggling there with understeer on towards turn 6. He will, though, have DRS on the McLaren. So is this battle over? It doesn't seem so. The Red Bull should have DRS down the 2 very long straights, and will want to return the compliments to the Schumskray. Oh, and he was so late on the brakes, he almost hit the McLaren. He then gets a troublesome exit. That could give Dublin a chance, but that was perilously close to tears there for the Schumskray and Leo Kreiter. Cagey still out on track. Wow, he's extended his stint to unbelievable endurance. But we have the top 3 all in the same picture. We promised you action, and we are delivering it here at Zoom Racing. We have 2 McLarens and a Red Bull vying for the lead of the race. We have Cagey going on an alternative strategy, seemingly on a one-stop. Wow, what variety, what brilliant action we are experiencing here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Every ounce of intrigue is certainly reverberating across this benevolent Circuit Gilles Villeneuve scene. Leo Kreiter once more will have DRS on the Schumskray. Will he be able to steal back the net lead of the race, or is that a spin? It is for an AlphaTauri. Looks like Caduce and Godolin were experiencing trouble there, but Cagey now makes his pit stop. So he will relinquish the lead of the race to the McLaren, with Leo Kreiter in hot pursuit, but he almost spun it around through the final corner. He still remains in seconds, but only just. Cushy may edge ahead of Cagey. Yes, he will. He will. So Cushy now up into P4. Cagey may have lost a little bit in these opening stops, but it looks like he's committing to a one-stop strategy. Dublin sets the fastest lap of the race as he hunts down Leo Kreiter. He wants his name back in the lead of the race, but he's going to have to overcome the Red Bull of Leo Kreiter immediately. Leo Kreiter has dropped out of DRS range of our race leader, and Dublin has a very healthy opportunity to get past the Red Bull. If he has a handsome enough of an exit through the casino hairpin, he stands a good chance. Leo Kreiter's grip on second place is dwindling, metre after metre. Dublin is closing in on the Red Bull. He looks to the inside, he looks to the outside, but the Red Bull still is ahead, but only just. Dublin will have DRS once more. Does he have second place? He's going to pull to the inside, and it is now a McLaren 1-2 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Dublin has spent many laps in the wheel tracks of Leo Kreiter, but he has overtaken him, much to his delight and much to the Red Bull's despair. We have a race on our hands between the 2 race leaders and the 2 McLarens. It's Schrei now hunting down Schonk. This is the battle for 5th place. It's Schrei getting very deep there on the brakes into turn 3. Schonk still preserving that 5th place. He pitted a lap later than the Aston Martin, as you can see on your screens. But Cagey, who did lead this race, has pitted. He's re-emerged in the race in P7. And he will want to battle back through the pack. So then, It's Schrei will have DRS on Schonk. Cagey will have DRS on It's Schrei. It's partial B pass for It's Schrei, but he's going to look to get past Schonk. He's going to look to the outside of turn 13. Is he able to make the move stick? No, he isn't. He hit the polystyrene boards, but he's gotten away with damage for the moment. But Cagey is pouncing. He's going to pull to the inside of turn 1. Is he going to be late enough on the brakes? He is. They're going to go side by side, but the Aston Martin has to concede the position, and Cagey is up into 6th. Brave, blistering move from the Haas, and his race revive, his battle back up into the most promising, the most pleasurable positions of them all, has started. It started with a bold move on the Aston Martin. He now wants to make another move. Chonk is under pressure from the Haas. They're going to approach turn 8 as the Haas going to look to get past. He's later on the brakes into turn 8, so he isn't able to get past. But as they put down the power and on towards the casino hairpin, he's edging ever closer. The Haas. Oh, he's taken the optimum line through the casino hairpin, and on exit, the Alfa Romeo did not stand a chance. It looks like KG will have DRS as well, and he will cement his name in 5th place. That's 2 places in 1 lap for KG, and he is battling through the pack here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. He wants his name back out in front, but Chonk is coming back at KG, but he's not able to make an impression into turn 1. Meanwhile, the 2 McLarens are separated by 1.6 seconds. They're not within DRS of one another, but there is still a very interesting battle to be had. We have yellow flags through sector 2 and 3, and Logan looks like he's gone for another spin in this race. It's been a race of misery for the Alpine as we approach half distance. He has written his race, really, and it is going to dissolve into dejection. Traversport running very close to the walls there through the exit of turn 9. But KG hasn't really streaked away from Chonk on this lap. The Alfa Romeo will have DRS. Is he coming back at the Haas? This is going to be a very interesting battle down the start-finish straight. The Alfa Romeo, well, that Haas rear wing gets even larger and larger, metre by metre down the straight, and KG runs wide through the chicane. Chonk says thank you very much, and he steals back 5th place. But is he going to be able to cement his name in 5th place? Because KG around the outside of turn 1 is venturous, audacious, but it's worked a treat for him. But Chonk still fighting back. No, KG just about ahead for the moment, but the Alfa Romeo will still have DRS on him. Meanwhile, the battle out in front, the 2 McLarens are getting closer to one another. Dublin is eating into the deficit he formerly had to his teammate. The Schum's time out in front may be numbered. KG really isn't liking these medium compound tyres. Chonk is coming at him towards the casino hairpin. He's going to look to the outside. Is he able to brake late enough? No, he isn't, but KG really struggling through the apex. The Alfa Romeo, as he puts the power down, does he have a chance? Yes, he will. He'll open DRS. He'll run side by side with the Haas. It looks like he's going to surge past. Yes, he does. Chonk back up into P5. Great battle between those two, and the battle out in front is intensifying once more. Dublin is not letting go of his McLaren teammate, especially after the pit stop phase. But on lap 19 of 35, he's taking the fight to his teammate and wants his place in the race lead once more. KG and Chonk have been inseparable in the past few laps. Chonk isn't able to streak away from KG. The Haas coming at the Alfa Romeo through turn 6 and on towards turn 7. This is going to be close on towards turn 8, but KG almost gets in a massive tank slapper. But the Alfa Romeo is still in sight, and his race prolongs to yet more moments of intrigue. Wow, that was perilously close to a race-ending crash for the Haas. But back to the battle for the lead. Dublin closing in on his teammates, but he just isn't close enough. He does have DRS, but the Schum's using all the talent he possesses and all the potential in his tyres to keep his teammates at bay. Leo Critus is pitting once more, but back to the battle between Chonk and KG through the final chicane, both not getting the optimum line. KG still has a chance down the start-finish straight. Does he have the place ahead of the Alfa Romeo into turn 1? No. Chonk, now currently occupying P4, keeps ahead of the Haas. Logan now sets the fastest lap of the race. Leo Critus re-emerges in this race just about ahead of Traversport. So then, The Red Bull emerges once more in clear air. That's going to force the hand of one of the McLarens. But they're interested in their little battle for the race lead. Dublin really isn't getting that close to his teammates. Oh no! Chonk has found the wall. It was a terrific battle between him and KG, but it has met its conclusion as Chonk finds the wall through turn 9. And he drops down into P8. The first major crash we've seen here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve has been one of Chonk's disappointment. But Dublin now pits. He responds to Leocritus. He wants to nullify the undercut attempt of the Red Bull. Is he going to be able to do that? Itchry is coming at KG into turn 1. He's going to give the Haas a bit of a nudge, but the Haas still preserves that 4th place for the moment. But Dublin is ahead of Leocritus, and in a big way. Chonk is now retired from the session. Looks like he may have crashed either down the start-finish straight or through the pit lane entry. We may find out in the Discord server. But he's the first retirement Chonk from this race. He crashed through this particular piece of track a lap ago, but his race has met its conclusion on lap 21 of 35. So KG lost one competitor in battle, but Itchry is coming at him. He should be within DRS threat of the Haas down this straight. He is, and he will close in on the Haas. On towards the chicane, KG holding the place for the moment, but on exits, the Aston Martin, no, he doesn't seem to have a healthy enough of an exit to really make an impression on KG, but with the help of DRS, he gets closer, but not close enough. Driver Sport pits once more. His second stop of the race, he puts on another set of the medium compound tyres. If all seems clean, that will be his final visit to the pits. So then, Dublin, having made his pit stop, he's obviously triggered the undercut on his teammates. Is his teammates, the Shumskray, thinking about going onto the soft compound tyres? They can probably last about 10 laps, and as the cars get lighter, it seems more and more plausible that the McLaren will switch to the soft compound tyres and come back at his teammate. AG still occupying P4 ahead of Itchry. KG, of course, started this race from pole position, has not had the greatest of race ventures. He sits outside the podium places, and now we have yellow flags through sector 3. Okay, now they've been replaced by green flags. But obviously we have not had a safety car yet, but we've had a major problem for good Ole Moose, who has spun through turn 9. He is last of the runners in that little spin. It's only going to cement that status. Connor, though, has just been passed. Oh no, he hasn't been passed. Itchry has made a pit stop and is ahead of the Red Bull. So Itchry will emerge in clear air. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Harkey. So we will have to see, but Connor will have DRS on the Aston Martin, and this could cause a massive problem for Itchry, who was making the pit stop to trigger a reaction from KG. But if the Aston Martin is passed by Connor, that is going to prove troublesome and problematic. The Shumskray, the race leader, has now suffered a time penalty for track limits. That hands the initiative to Dublin. But still, we are invested in this battle for 7th place between Itchry and Connor. Itchry has just pitted. He has the younger tyres and is expected to streak away from the Red Bull. Back then to Dublin. He's made his pit stop, his second pit stop of the race. And he's eating into the gap he has behind Cushy and the Shimskray. So McLaren 1-3 still. They are the team most favourable for the race win. But are they able to execute this opportunity? We will have to see. So then Itchry still only just ahead of Connor. He really isn't utilising the youthfulness of his medium compound tyres. Connor is not getting away from him. The Shimskray now pits and does go into the soft compound tyres, so there's a disparity in strategy between the two McLarens. Dublin emerged ahead, the undercut has worked, but his teammates on younger, fresher, softer tyres will come back at his teammates in pursuit of race victory. Itchry has DRS on Parky. The Parky though really struggling through the final chicane. Itchry is closing in on the Alpine. The Aston Martin is going to chance a move around the outside of turn 1. So smooth, so slick, and so scintillating there from the Aston Martin. He powers past the Alpine. Connor now going side by side with Parky after a little bit of contact. So it's Itchry 6th, it's Connor 7th, it's Parky now down into 8th. But what a move from Itchry. Absolutely blistering. We're on lap 25 of 35 here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Dublin is now within 1 second of the race lead, but his teammate on the soft compound tyres is just as close. We have the most intriguing of battles to the end of this race. A three-way battle for the lead at the moment will probably yield a two-way battle once Cushy makes his pit stop. But for Dublin, he needs to get past the Ferrari as soon as is humanly possible. He needs to eke out a gap to his teammate, who poses a severe threat to his race-winning chances. Dublin has DRS on Cushy. The Shimskray has DRS on Dublin. What is going to come of this? Dublin has a handsome exit as he's looking for the position down the inside of the casino hairpin. He thinks about it, he does think about it, but he isn't able to make the move. The Shimskray is hot on his heels. Dublin is going to have DRS on Cushy. He opens it, he's chasing down the Ferrari. Which way is he going to look? He's presented with the inside line, he's going to seize it, and with it the race lead. And as Cushy makes a pit stop, it is now a battle between the two McLarens for the race lead. Itchry and Connor reigniting in battle. Itchry just hasn't had the pace on these medium compound tyres to really streak away from the Red Bull. Their battle is ever present, everlasting. Who is going to have the upper hand towards the end of the straight? Connor down the inside, perhaps? No. He backs out of it at the last moment. Thinking of endurance rather than a last gasp move, and Parky hits the wall. He remains in this race, but just about. That would have given him a harrowing scare, but the Shimskray is closing in on his teammate. It seems like he has chosen the favourable strategy. It seems like he is the favourite for the race win, and down the inside into the casino hairpin, he takes the race lead. It's a swap of positions between the two McLarens, and it's the Shimskray with DRS actually down this straight, who is the favourite for the race win at the moment. Dublin gave it all he had using the undercut, but the softer, younger tyres of the Shimskray has handed him the race lead. Great stuff there from the Shimskray. He's really exercised a race of brilliance. Connor's going to have DRS on the Aston Martin of Itchry once more. Building up speeds of 200 miles per hour, but the Aston Martin always really struggling there through the chicane. Connor is not going to need a second invitation. He runs side by side with the Aston, and he ekes out a gap even before the apex of turn 1. So it's Connor who demotes Itchry down to 7th and promotes himself up into 6th. Now, again, it's worth mentioning that the Shimskray, the race leader, and who is eking out a gap, has soft he has soft compound tyres, but he also has a penalty of 3 seconds. So Dublin is still in the net race lead, but as his teammate gets away from him on track, his race chances are getting away. Each try still will have DRS on the Red Bull of Connor. What's the battle? They will contest, but Leo Kreitis defending from Cushy, who looks to the outside of the chicane. He's impossibly late on the brakes, and he rages ahead of the Red Bull. Wow, what speed, what commitment into the chicane there from Cushy. He's up into P4. Connor struggling through the final corner. It try then has DRS on him, has the place ahead of him even before the start-finish line, and he swoops ahead into turn 1. Shimscray now has a lead of over 2.5 seconds, even with that 3-second time penalty. A possible race win wanders towards him, millimetre by millimetre, lap after lap. The gap gets perilously close to 3 seconds, and Dublin, who led this race for major chunks, may see that race victory slipping away. What a battle though between Itchry and Connor. The most enduring battle of the race so far is still present. Itchry struggling through the hairpin, and this major disaster sets the fastest lap of the race in a 1:7.6. Wow. But Connor coming back at Itchry on towards the chicane. Is he able to make an impression? No, he isn't. He has the aid of DRS to chase and hunt down the Aston Martin into turn 1. No, Itchry still just about ahead. Oh no, and that's Itchry being passed by Connor, but that's Jacob finding the wall through the final corner. The Wall of Champions has claimed a victim in this race. So it seems like Jacob there. Does he have sustainable damage on his car? We'll have to see. But Connor slipping past the Aston Martin a bit shy in a not so conventional passing place. The Aston Martin still has DRS on Connor. This battle is going to continue all the way to the checkered flag. We have 5 laps left of this Canadian Grand Prix. 5 laps to invest in yet more drama. Let's see what comes of it. Connor defending from its stride. The Aston Martin thinks twice about making the move on towards the chicane as the Red Bull earns himself a time penalty of 3 seconds. Now, Cushy, also on the soft compound tyres, wants to promote himself up into the podium places. He has a penalty waiting of 6 seconds. KG has a time penalty waiting of 3 seconds. And with 4.5 laps left, is Cushy going to be able to not only get up into third, but keep it with time penalties being applied? We'll have to see. But he has DRS on the Haas, or he will at least have DRS on the Haas, and he has a chance to take that 3rd place from the man that started this race from pole. Cushy, he's going to look to the outside. He's made 1 move around the outside into the chicane. He's not going to make it 2, but he then spins. It was 1 move chance too many for the Ferrari. He's lost a place to Leo Kreitis, and KG's occupation of 3rd place has just been eased. Worries he had of losing that place have been eased in a very brief moment of misfortune for Cushy. So then, lap 32 of 35. Shimscray still leading by 4.5 seconds. That's more than enough of a gap that he needed. And Parky now. What a horrid race this has been for Alpine, and a horrid race it has been for Parky as he spins once more. He's currently P11, outside the top 10. With major disaster being AI'd, the Alpine is missing a healthy, handsome opportunity to take back that 10th place, but he's not able to execute that chance at the moment. So then the two McLarens are in a different league to those behind them. Cage is about 20 seconds off of the race lead, with Leo Crisis lurking in the distance. But it seems like McLaren may bring it home in the formation for a 1-2 finish. Seems like Major Disaster, who had his car AI'd, has rejoined the lobby and will quickly take over his car before the race's conclusion. So then, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there is any driver within a second of the car ahead, or at least for position. Oh no! Parky now through the final corner. I mentioned of the horrid rides he has endured, but his race has ended in a heartbeat. He slams into the wall of champions and out of this race. And with us being on lap 34 of 35, it seems like we will not have a safety car deployed. So it doesn't seem like the field will stack up back amongst one another. But Cushy then, still in hot pursuit of 4th place. That little spin hasn't really damaged his tyres that much. But that was a dramatic moment there for Parky through the final chicane. And he becomes the second retirement of this race. But the Schimmscray now enters the final lap of the race. He is leading a McLaren 1-2. Seems like we don't have that many close battles out on track still. Seems like it may be a smooth ride to the finish for the Schimmscray. See there, Connor struggling through the final corner. Does it try have an opportunity to repass the Red Bull? Doesn't seem like he's close enough into turn 1, and 6th place is still Connor's. So then, the Schimmscray, he enters and passes the Casino hairpin at a track where McLaren before Monza 2021 took their last 1-2 finish. They're going to take a 1-2 finish here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and after a race of utter mastery from both of their drivers, it's going to be the Schimmscray. He's executed a perfect strategy, and he has pierced the race hopes of his teammates. He weaves across the line to win at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. He leads home a McLaren 1-2, and it's the perfect day for the Woking team. This is the battle for P4. Leo Crisis still just about ahead of Cushy. It seems like the Rebel will hold the position to the flag. They come through the final corner now. Yes, Leo Crisis will hold that position. It seems like anybody else is going to make a pass towards the line. Travis was within 1.8 seconds of it shy, and on a day where he could have won the championship. His fortunes for championship glory, his task to conquer the championship, will live on for another week. He'll have to return to Silverstone next week to win the championship. But the day belongs to the Schimmscray. He leads home a McLaren 1-2, and it has been a wondrous day for the Woking team. So there, the Shumscray enduring in elation. He wins the Canadian Grand Prix. And after taking the fight to his teammate Dublin, in the end, Dublin just did not have a response. It's the best of days for McLaren. They take home a 1-2 finish here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So then, what a race that was. We had a battle for the lead, we have battles for the podium places, but in the end it is the Shumscray. After starting from third, he displaced KG and Dublin to win in ZRL. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Canadian Grand Prix, courtesy of the X Division of Zoom Racing League. Make sure you return next week for the season finale around Silverstone. It will surely be another sensational and scintillating ride. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.